Mu mwezi ogw'omukaaga nga gutandika, Parliament sako ne gavumenti bayanjulira bannayuganda embalirira ya Uganda enaatambuzibwako omwaka guno 2024 ne 2025. Naye nga bamaze okujanjula, Museveni abeera alina okusaako omukono. Naye mu mbalirira eno mulimu ebirumira. Embalirira eno ya 72 trillion Ugandan shillings. Museveni ng'amaze oba cabinet ng'emaze ogirabamu ng'amaze ogjanjulira bannayuganda, Museveni yaganye okusayininga ku kintu kwandiise appropriation bill ng'agamba mulimu ebirumira era n'agizaayo mu Parliament eddemu ekubaganyeko ebirowoozo. Agamba nti Parliament teyateeka sira ku bintu gavumenti byerinako omuzinzi, era ng'agamba nti no kyamulumye almost 72 billion shillings zagiddwako ku bitongole bya gavumenti ebimu nga ababaka bijjako. Bino n'abeera furious n'agamba nno ensonga zino zidde mu Parliament basooke bazikubaganyeko ebirowoozo. Jjukira nga Parliament ebadde mu recess. Bagisindika mu recess ebeera nga ebadde egenda kumawa I think July nga anaatera okuggwako, naye yawaliziddwa okukomawo okubaganya ebirowoozo. Kati nno gwabadde muliro mu Parliament nga wenjagala olabe vidiyo eno ogimaleko.
Honorable members, Parliament's main role is appropriation, and nobody will take it away from us. Right Honorable Speaker, and honorable colleagues, I need your protection, Right Honorable Speaker.
Yes, Prime Minister.
Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, I want to request honorable members to appreciate that the President respects this House. That's why he sent back this bill for reconsideration. If he was not respecting us, he has other options. He can warrant. But he went aside, he decided to bring back this bill because he respects this House. Can I request, Right Honorable Speaker, that you allow the Attorney General to come in at this time so that he can guide us?
Procedure, we shall guide ourselves. Procedure.
Odria.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I want to thank you for the opportunity. Right Honorable Speaker, the issue of corruption in this Parliament has gone beyond borders. Right Honorable Speaker, we have lost trust in the Budget Committee. That is why I think the President has written to you, so that this House can be given opportunity to scrutinize the budget in relation to his rejections for reallocation. Madam Speaker, the procedural matter I want to raise is, you already made a ruling on this matter, that let the House debate and let the House go for the reallocation. You have ruled, Madam Speaker. Are we moving well procedurally on a matter that you have ruled on?
Thank you. Honorable members, Rule 222. Rule 222. Decision of the House. The House has already made a decision. The House has already made a decision. Can I now have the Minister move a motion?
Item 3, Motion for
Procedure.
reconsideration of the Appropriation Bill
Procedure.
2024
Procedure, Honorable
as
Speaker.
returned by His
Procedure.
Excellency the President in accordance with Article 91(3)(c) of the Constitution and Rule 143 of the Rules of Procedure.
Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker.
Honorable
Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker.
Doctor, you wait. Let him move a motion, and you will bring all that when we are in the committee of the whole house.
Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker. Procedure, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker, I thank you for correcting the anomaly where you've referred now for a formal motion to be moved by the Minister of Finance. Since this is an appropriation bill, it couldn't have been moved by the government chief whip when the minister is here. That one, I thank you. But number two, Right Honorable Speaker.
The other one was different. Very different.
My implication is for you to pick the cue from that. I was just tickling you to pick a cue from that. I was giving you the beef from it.
Go Sechi, stop tickling me.
Right Honorable Speaker, this is not a normal reconsideration of the bill. For almost a quarter of a century, I've been to this house. Almost a quarter of a century I've been to this house. I'm going to make a quarter of a century. This has never been, this is quite unprecedented. And I would have requested, Right Honorable Speaker, to allow the House to interrogate the circumstances under which the budget speech already made to the Ugandans were received by the country, and now the president is referring back the bill to this parliament for reconsideration. Does it mean that the president reads the budget without assigning or assenting to it? And that is one dilemma. The second dilemma, Right Honorable Speaker, I have. As parliament will look bad. Who caused this? We want to know. Don't blame all of us to this. Who caused all this? Let us know, let us interrogate who tampered for selfish reasons the budget of the country. If you talk about 3.1 trillion, 3.1 trillion in 4 years, this is huge amounts of money. Right? It isn't a normal reconsideration. Bad motive has been imputed on this house, and the president cannot speak in vain. It means he has evidence.
Can we first constitute the house into a committee of the whole house?
But
then
usually,
you talk.
Right Honorable Speaker, let us first exhaust this, then we can go back knowing the reasons. And what are we moving from, and where are we moving next? Where is the problem? Who did this? We must know who are the thieves. If they are thieves of 3.1 trillion. Yes, I'll take it. This is getting out of hand.
Honorable man, you don't have to raise your voice for me to hear you. I am saying, honorable members, Honorable Leon brought a very good suggestion. Avur, sit. Honorable members, we are saying we are going to have a committee of the whole house. And in that committee of the whole house, can I have silence? Can you first, Honorable Minister of Finance, move a motion and we go into a debate?
Right Honorable Speaker, before the motion, I would like to request the executive, the appropriation bill, we passed it and should have taken effect on 1st July. We are now into the financial year. Before we even move to consider, would the executive address us under what legal regime and what will happen now that we don't have a law in place. So that
AG. AG.
Thank you very much, Right Honorable Speaker. Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, as you have clearly stated, the President has returned the Appropriations Bill under Article 91.3c of the Constitution. We are all aware that the financial year in Uganda starts on 1st July of every subsequent year. Before I direct myself exactly on the provisions of the law, Right Honorable Speaker and Honorable colleagues, it is indeed the constitutional mandate of Parliament to appropriate money against the proposals that have been made by the President in the budget estimates in accordance with Article 156. While we exercise this mandate, the approval of the budget must be done in comparison to the budget that is presented by the executive. That means this is a shared responsibility of both the executive and the Parliament. Honorable Chimosho did mention here that we were all in the House when this bill was passed. And this Parliament constitutes a front bench and a back bench. And therefore, we are collectively responsible for the decisions that were made in this House on that day. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the decision for the President to return the bill is also founded in law. And the decision of the President to return the bill to this House is backed by both the Constitution and even our rules of procedure. And as such, we are not operating outside any provisions of the law. While we do this appropriation, honorable colleagues and members,
Order, Madam.
we need to consider the priorities both of government and also the available resources. So, Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, when the bill is brought back to Parliament, it should not be taken as an offensive act by the executive. Right Honorable Speaker and honorable colleagues, the framers of this constitution were alive. The framers of this constitution were alive to the fact that there will come a day when July 1 comes to pass before the Appropriations Act is passed. In Article 154(4), the exercise of the executive authority by the President to issue a warrant can be done before 1st July or after. Honorable colleagues, we don't have a crisis. Government, there are sufficient legal mechanisms to ensure that government continues running. I want to implore your colleagues, let us all sit down and reconsider.
Counsel, yes. You mean a warrant has been issued?
No, the warrant has not been issued, but what Honorable Dur was asking is what happens, and we are saying that we are well within our rights because the Constitution anticipated that we can deal with the Appropriations Act even after 1st July. There is no warrant current.
So in
clarification, Madam
Yes.
Speaker.
No.
Madam Speaker, both print and electronic media is awash with what the PSST opined about, especially when he raised this same issue of the warrant. And I would like to seek clarification from the Attorney General whether the President, as of now that we do not have an appropriation act in operation, whether he has already issued a warrant to issue funds from the consolidated fund until the expiry of 4 months, as stipulated in that Article 154, which you have ably quoted.
Right Honorable Speaker, I can state with no fear of contradiction that the President has not issued a warrant under Article 154(4) of the Constitution. The President has chosen to take the path of coming back to the House so we can go through this budget and do this exercise.
Procedure, Honorable Speaker.
Honorable members, when you look at Article 154(4), if the President is satisfied that the Appropriation Act in respect of any financial year will not or has not come into operation by the beginning of the financial year, the President may, subject to the provisions of the article, authorize an issue of monies from the consolidated fund, and that is a warrant. Now, in the circumstance, today is 2nd, and that's why we say, because of the time, let's have this passed so that we do not bring in the issue of the warrant. We have the act passed, we have the bill passed, and then we have the act by it.
Procedure,
There's a motion.
Budget ya Uganda eri 72.13 trillion shillings. Naye ng'eno ngenda kumenyera weze erinnya. Parliament was presented 52 trillion total budget in the budget framework paper. It grew to 53.3 trillion in February after the issuance of the second budget call circular. On 28th March, the minister tabled an appropriation bill with a total budget of 58.3 trillion. He also presented draft estimates totaling to 60 trillion shillings. So, on May 16th, according another 13.78 trillion was laid on the floor of Parliament, revising the budget to further to 72 trillion Uganda shillings. Kati ndowooza olaba wezze erinnya. Naye kino nno tekyalese babaka kyekimu nga bwe walabye mu vidiyo eno. Bajeti ya Uganda lwaki yalinnye? Waliwo ebintu ebimu bye bayongeddemu ssente saako n'enkola ezinajja abavubuka mu bwavu. Kyokka ate era waliwo n'okulaba nga gavumenti esaaviisinga amabanja gaayo. According to the Shadow Minister of Finance, and that is Honorable Ssemujju Nganda, he reported that the public debt stood at 86 trillion, while the Auditor General's figure indicated the debt was 97 trillion shillings, or way above the accepted 50% sustainable threshold. Ssemujju says the debt stood at 52.7% of the country's 184 trillion gross domestic product, that is GDP. The biggest task for us as 11th Parliament is to significantly reduce the 97 trillion public debt, and Parliament must reject any measure that seek to grow the public debt. It should be remembered that the leader of opposition, Joel Ssenyonyi, and his cabinet shunned the budget day, saying it was pointless to attend to it, endorse 72 trillion shillings budget when their country opinion had been rejected. So you see how we stand. Government bagibanja sente nyingi naye nga zonna olowooza zigenda kuva mu ffe bannayuganda. Kiki ekiteekeddwa okukolwa? Okulaba nga gavumenti yeewala okuddamu okwewola ssente ezigenda okuteeka bannayuganda mu buzibu. Recently, waliwo kye nalabyeko. Gavumenti ya Uganda yeewoze triliyoni 1 ne ssente ezigwamu okulaba nga bafundinga infrastructure development in Uganda. Bazeewoze mu Korea. Kale olaba nti Uganda ekyagenda mu maaso n'okwewola, kyokka ate nga n'ebbanja nalyo ligiri mu bulago. nze naawe twesibe ebbiri. Otherwise nkusibulidde wano nze amaanyi nze Essential Akatela nze amata agatafa. Like nga subscribing ate sharing.